Hello, my beautiful friends. It's Amanda here, and I am super excited for today's video because we are talking about the newly released ColourPop and Twilight collaboration. This is round 2 for Twilight, and this is the New Moon collection. I'm excited. First of all, we already covered this, but let's recap because the last Twilight collection came out about a year ago. I am a fan of the Twilight movies. I enjoy them for their campiness. They're very, very fun. I was never a Twilight fan when I was a teenager. I really came to appreciate the story via the movies and not so much the books. I've read the books, but I prefer the movies personally. Let's just address the elephant in the room. I am a team Jacob Gurley. This is a pattern I've noticed. People who liked the story in their younger years, teens and 20s, tend to be more Team Edward. And I get it. Look, I get it. I get it. But I do think that the mature choice is Jacob. Let's just all ignore the imprinting on a baby storyline, okay? I can throw that straight out of my brain, and I recommend that you do that too. But now I feel like it's my time to shine with a New Moon collection because I'm a team Jacob Gurley for life. No shade to Team Edward. We need each other to exist, okay? So as you can imagine, I was thrilled to see this New Moon collection. There are a bunch of gorgeous pieces, a lot of things that I particularly really enjoy from the brand. In addition to this gorgeous, grungy, warm tone palette, you take one look at this and you know that this is right up my alley, I'm sure. We also have some Super Shock shadows, OG favorite. And we have some Multichrome shadow sticks. There's a Soul Body glow oil. And then we have several lip products. There are 2 Power Pout matte lip kits and an ultra glossy lip. All of these things are currently available. You can find them on the ColourPop site as well as on the Ulta site. A bunch of stuff is still in stock, so I'm going to link everything that I can find down in the description box. If you're shopping on the ColourPop website, you can use my affiliate code. It's just my first name, Amanda, and that will save you 10% on most things on the site. However, if you do something like the full collection set or different value kits, bundles, things like that, then codes won't apply to any of those because they're already discounted. But any individual products, you can use code Amanda, and that'll save you a little bit. We have a lot to go over. I'm going to show you close-ups, swatches. I have 2 different eye looks. I did one a little bit more golden, one a little bit more green. So I'll show you these 2 eye looks. I'm going to show you lip swatches. I'm going to show you palette comparisons. We have a whole lot of info to dig into. So let's start first with the Soul Body Glow Oil. First up is the Soul Body Glow Oil. This is in the shade It's a Wolf Thing. I don't have a huge collection of these glow oils to do any sort of comparison. They just don't have an amazing shelf life because they're a liquid body product. And it's not the type of thing that I personally use a ton. So I don't have a lot of these on hand for comparisons. But this does seem like the type of color that is at least similar to plenty of these yellowy gold shades that they've done before. We have the same coconut type of scent, that tanning oil type of scent that these have. Very similar packaging style, but just with some of that custom decor on the outside of the bottle. So I would say if you love this is a type of product to use up, then this will be a very reliable purchase for you. But if you have any of the gold body oils that they've released previously, you probably don't need this one. Now let's move on to the Super Shock shadows. These are $9 a piece and there are 2 different shades. I love the different custom packaging on the outer cartons that color coordinates to these really cool tie-dyed Super Shock shadows inside. Super Shock Shadows are the original ColourPop product. So all of the OG ColourPop lovers like me have enjoyed this formula and know that this is just really that cult classic ColourPop staple. I'm always happy to see new shades coming out. I'm always happy to see these continuing to be popular in their special collections. And these two are particularly well suited to this new moon collection. We have the Volturi shade that's a little bit more of a satiny finish, and then We Won't Bite is definitely more shimmery. I really like both of these colors. They match the palette and the other makeup products really well. So, all in all, these are some of my top picks from the collection. But in general, spoiler alert, I like all of the eye products. Next, we're going to take a look at these multi-chrome shadow sticks. I love, once again, the custom packaging for each one of the different shades on these outer cartons. I think that this is just so clever. If you, like me, are a fan of the films, then you're going to get all of these references. These multi-chrome shadow sticks are priced at $12 each, and I know that they previously released some other multi-chrome shadow sticks. I think it was in the Winx Club collection, maybe it was with the restock. I can't exactly remember, but I also think they sent those to me. I can't put my hands on them. I don't know where I stored those. They may have been put directly into my ColourPop archives because I didn't have time to review them by the time I got them. I wanted to do a comparison, but I cannot put my eyeballs on those Winx Club ones here in my office. I do think that those in general were lighter and more of a transparent base. The only one from photos online that seems like it might be kind of similar are the reds, this Vampire Girl shade, and the Winx Club one is called Sonic Blast. I just went and looked at a picture online, but it seems like in general, these New Moon Collection multi-chrome shadow sticks are quite a bit darker. But again, I can't do a side by side comparison because I can't find mine. So apologies for that. I really wanted to do it. I'm sure that a lot of you are wondering about that. I'm wondering about it too. So I'm going to keep looking for the Winx Club ones. I have one more place that I can check. I think I may have stored them. And I'll do a short or something, maybe a little reel on Instagram or a YouTube short or something, if I can find them to put those colors side by side. But in general, I really, really like all three of these colors. I love the shifts. I showed you in some different lighting situations here just how dynamic these are. And you're also going to see me use the more greenish one in one of the tutorials a little bit later on. Now let's move over to some of the lip products. First, we do have one ultra glossy lip. This one's priced at 10 US dollars and it's called Runs with Vampires. I think this is really quite a pretty lip gloss. I personally find it more visually stimulating to look at than to actually wear. I just feel like me personally, I know how I am. I would make a mess of wearing this, but I just am not very dainty with my lip products. So I'd be smudging this all over the place, but I have to say, it is really quite pretty. It has a very slim, flat, flexible doe foot applicator and this sheer red tint. Formula wise, this seems to be on par with other ultra glossy lips that I've tried from the brand before. Again, it's not like my absolute go-to type of color, so I haven't worn this all day long like I have with some of these other products, but I do think it's pretty cool. It's unique. It makes sense within the context of a Twilight collection, and I love that they just went for it for something different instead of giving us just a nude lip and a red lip. No shade to the two lip duos that we're about to look at, but that is what they've tended to do in the past is a couple of just more basic nude or pink or basic red lip kits for their collaboration collections. And I'm glad that they pushed it out for something just a little bit unique with this metallic ultra glossy lip. Now, speaking of doing the standard nude and red lipstick colors in a lip kit, that's pretty much exactly what they did with these lipstick and lip pencil duos. We have two different versions here, much like the two different Super Shock shadows. I think they're kind of made to coordinate with one another. This is the hilariously named Bella, where have you been, Loca? I love that they just leaned into the corniness of that line. All of the Twilight lovers, just, we love the camp. We love the weirdness of it. And this is perfectly named. I actually love it. I'm glad they leaned into it. I'm glad that they gave everything goofy names. Like this lip pencil is called Hello Biceps. So funny. I mean, it's great. Why not just enjoy the goofiness of it? And I have to say, this Power Pout matte lipstick in the shade Jake is really, really pretty. It's not just your standard beigey nude. It has this rich, rusty brown tone to it, which I personally love. That's the type of lip color that I really gravitate towards. And this one, You Can't Trust Vampires, is a lot more of that classic red lip, that pin-up style red lip. But I think that they did at least do something a little bit different with the Jake lip color. And I guess I'm probably biased because it is a color that I quite enjoy wearing, but I think it's going to look good on a lot of people. And I'm just always glad when they do something a little bit unexpected. So I'm going to give them credit where credit is due on that one. And I have to say, even though this is a very predictable, basic, classic red lip, it is still really pretty. I was very, very impressed by the opacity. That's one thing that I'll say about these Power Pout matte lip colors is they're intense. They're a little bit too dry for me personally, but they are really smooth and really, really opaque. So applying them is a breeze, and I think they look really, really good on the lips. I was so tempted to try this combo. Again, I could never actually wear this. I would ruin it in 2 seconds as soon as I open my mouth, but it does look really beautiful, you have to admit. Before we move on from the lip products, I just wanted to show you the swatches on my arm. That way you could see the lip pencil and the lipstick side by side. These, I think, look a lot darker on the lip than they do on the arm swatch, but these are also just one swipe swatches for both the pencil and the lipstick, so they're more built up once they're actually applied to the lips, at least in my case. Now, let's talk about the beautiful New Moon palette. I'm sure you can already tell by the tone of my voice. This palette is definitely one that I've been enjoying. I loved the original Twilight palette. This one is so, so different, but it still is very satisfying to me in the same ways. I love the packaging. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I love a celestial theme, and the whole moon, nighttime, murky duskiness of it is just, it's very satisfying to me. I really love the packaging, the theming, the shades, just top to bottom. I feel like it's another one that they did a really, really great job curating to be true to the movie. And I like that this feels totally different than the first palette, and yet they both feel true to the franchise. I'm a fan. I also really enjoy the layout of this palette. I like that we have one yellowy gold row, one warm oranges and reds row, and then on the bottom we have all of those deepening shades, a lot more of that murky, dusky, dusty type of vibe. All in all, these are just the types of shades that I personally really like to wear. I love a bright yellow. I love a mustardy color. And I didn't realize it until I started working on the tutorials, but my favorite shades in this New Moon palette are very comparable to some of my favorite shades from my Enchanted Autumn palette. And you'll see in the comparison swatch portion of the video that some of the very similar palettes are some of my previous favorites as well. So this is just really in line with my own personal tastes and preferences. If you're somebody who doesn't like yellows, you don't like warm neutrals, you don't like red eyeshadow, then of course this is not going to be a great palette for you. Those are definitely shades that are very much in my wheelhouse, in my preferences. So, between the fact that I simply like this color scheme and I'm a fan of the franchise, of course, I'm a huge ColourPop fan. So, all of these factors combined, basically, I'm just right in the center of this Venn diagram here. So, it's probably no one's surprise that I really love this palette. It's definitely my favorite piece from the collection. However, the Super Shock shadows and the Multichrome shadow sticks are really fighting at the heels for that second place spot. All of the eye products are right up my alley. While I appreciate the fact that they did do a little bit of something different with some of the lip products, particularly that metallic red glossy lip, I just don't love those types of products. The super matte lipstick is just too dry for me right now. I am battling that dry, cold winter air. So a super matte lipstick just starts to feel awful on my lips after about 60 minutes of wearing. And the ultra glossy lip, again, a great idea. It's just not something that I personally am going to be able to wear out and about in my daily life. And the things that are my favorite things are the things that I want to and do wear all the time. So it's just not in my set of preferences. But if that is the type of thing you like to wear a lot, then I think you'll be excited. Maybe not as excited as I was when I realized that my sweater looked just like the Super Shock shadow. I wanted to use one of the Super Shock shadows in one look and one of the multi-chrome shadow sticks in the other look. And as I was creating this grungy, mustardy eye look, I didn't really realize it until after I put my mascara on, honestly, that this looks so similar to one of the looks that I did for my Enchanted Autumn palette reveal. I'm actually gonna put a side by side up on the screen here in a second so that you can see my original Enchanted Autumn look that I used the shades Willow Oak, Harvest Moon, and Luna to create. And I think they look very similar. Obviously, my Enchanted Autumn palette look is a little bit sparklier, in my opinion. But once I realized this after I put on some mascara, I actually went back and altered the original golden look a little bit and added some more orange and bright yellow into it just to distinguish it a little bit. I try not to do the same looks over and over again on my channel, but obviously it's human nature. We're drawn towards certain styles, certain color combinations, and I do like to try to get out of the box on things like that, but I'm a creature of habit and I also just I know what I like. I know what I think looks good on me. So I do end up getting drawn into the same color combos. I think we're all probably at least a little bit guilty of that. But instead of putting me off of this palette, I think that makes me like it even more because it is just so clearly within the realm of what I enjoy. And I think this multi-chrome shadow stick looks beautiful in combination with the eyeshadows from the New Moon palette. I could say that about all of the shadow sticks. This one, however, the more greenish one called It's Always Been Him, is my favorite of the three. If I was just going to recommend one of them, it would be this one. But I do think they're all beautiful. I've enjoyed wearing them. I've had an easy application. I've had an easy time blending them and layering them with powder eyeshadows. And I've also had a really nice, impressive wear time from the shadow sticks. I am somebody that does tend to experience a lot of creasing regardless of primer or anything. It's just, I have eyelid motility and I'm very thankful for that, but it makes my eyeshadows crease sometimes. And I think that these shadow sticks held up really, really well to the wear and tear that I experience throughout normal eyeshadow wear. It's not 100% perfectly intact by the end of the day, but no eyeshadow is on my lids. So I was impressed with the wear time of the powder shadows and especially the multichrome shadow sticks, just because cream shadows can be a little bit tough. As I said, I went back and added some more of the coppery oranges and some of that bright, bright yellow just to punch up this look. And I really wanted to make sure that I was doing something different. I wanted to show the full potential of this eyeshadow palette. I think there are a lot of great different looks that can come from this. I think you can do something really in your face, bright and yellow and orange and really primary. I think you can easily do something that's a little bit more toned down and neutral. What I have here is something right in between, especially with that more golden coppery eye. If it's shifty, sparkly, grungy, and has to do with vampires, I'm probably gonna like it. Ultimately, that is the way to get to my heart. If you're gonna slap a moon on it, a little woodsy theme, a little good-looking werewolf man, I'm pretty much in. Like I'm a pretty easy sell when it comes to that. I'm a woman of simple tastes, okay? I am sure that a lot of people look at this palette and say, this is a regular schmegular old warm orangey neutral palette. And I'm not here to argue with you. Okay, you're not wrong about that. I still really like it though. But I am going to show you some palette comparisons because you might be wiser than me and you might not need the same palette 100 times over. First one that came to mind for me was the Tarte Maneater palette, and this is what I was talking about when I said this palette is so similar to others that I've loved in the past. I was crazy for this Maneater palette. I can see why both of these color stories are appealing to me because they are very, very similar. Some of the finishes are a little off here and there, and that one green shade is not really that close, but otherwise, you're getting the same eye looks out of these two bad boys. Next up, we have a comparison that was suggested to me over on my Instagram page. I will admit I definitely would not have thought of this one. It did not jump to mind for me. However, you can see this is a pretty darn good comparison. Definitely some of those reds and golds are hitting the right notes. Again, the green's a little bit off. We're definitely lacking a few shades for comparisons in general, but for sure, you could get some of the same eye looks. I would say this is a medium good match, but really looking for that green shade. That's what I'm really looking for amongst these comparisons. Next, I did a couple of palette combos, things that you may already have in your ColourPop collection. The first one that came to mind for me was the Stranger Things palette because it has that bright matte yellow and the shimmery bright red shade. So that's what called that to mind for me. And then I thought pairing it with the Whatever palette would really give us some of those warm coppery oranges and toasty browns. So this is a pretty decent stand-in for the color story. Here is another palette combo. These were both comparison requests on Instagram as well. And this is the closest we've gotten to matching that green shade. Overall, I would say in the ColourPop comparisons, this is the best combo. I do think that the Tarte Maneater is even closer as far as matching the exact shades and some very, very similar finishes, but this is a pretty decent dupe suggestion here. And then lastly, the Smoke and Hot palette is our mega palette comparison for the day. This one is not as close as I thought it would be. Definitely a lot more orange leaning. We're lacking some of those golden yellows, definitely lacking some of the deeper, grungier shades, and of course, no green to speak of. But if you're really just intrigued by those warmer tones, then maybe pulling out the Smokin' Hot palette is the way to satisfy that warm tone lust. Once I realized how similar those eye looks turned out, I just had to satisfy my curiosity and swatch some of these Twilight New Moon shades against a couple of the shadows in my Fantasy Cosmetica collaboration called Enchanted Autumn. So the Twilight shades are first, and then the next shade is Enchanted Autumn. You can see that Willow Oak is a little bit more of like a dirty chartreuse undertone, and obviously it's quite a bit more opaque. These are one swipe swatches on those mattes, particularly. And then the Twilight Soulless Monster shade just doesn't have quite as much of a silver sparkle to it compared to Luna. You can tell that the Soulless Monster shade and Luna both have a grungy brown base with a little bit of a neutral green shimmer, but Luna just has a bunch of silver sparkles packed in, so it makes it look a little bit lighter and just a little bit more dynamic, in my opinion. And then lastly, We Don't Bite is the gold Super Shock shadow versus a pressed powder shadow called Harvest Moon. We Don't Bite is more of a blackened base. It does have that black tie-dye swirl through it. And Harvest Moon is just a lot sparklier in general. So these are pretty similar. I am in no way insinuating that they copied my palette or anything like that. It's just worth noting that these are similar, in my opinion. I'm not surprised that I really, really love this collection. I think I was predisposed to like it, especially because I really enjoyed the first Twilight collection. This one is so different in tone and feeling, but it still makes sense within the franchise. They've just really been killing it with their Twilight releases. In my opinion, it's some of the best IP collab work that they've done in a while. Obviously, I might be biased because I am a Twilight fan and I'm a ColourPop fan, but two things can be true at once. I can be a little biased because I'm a fan, and this can also be a really great collection that really hits the nail on the head. For me, the eyeshadow products are really where this collection shines. I love the Super Shock shadows, particularly this really deep, old, antique, brassy gold mixture. This one's called We Won't Bite. I really like both of these, but this is just my type of color. I love a really grungy, really metallic type of shadow, and this is absolutely perfect for me. I also think that these multi-chrome shadow sticks are super beautiful. They wear nicely on me. I think that these are unique. They feel special. It feels like the type of product that I could just swipe on for a super quick one and done, smudge it out and go out the door. Or I could use these as a part of a more intricate look. I really like these. I am impressed by the wear time. I have 39-year-old eyelids, so sometimes things are crinkling and creasing, and it's just one of those things. Gravity works. It's just one of those things, and these hold up really well to my little creasy eyelids. So I'm very impressed by these, both the colors and just the formulation, the staying power. For me, the star of the show is the palette. I love this color story. I really enjoy the grunginess of it. We still manage to have some brightness, some lightness as a relief from these more kind of murky, grungy tones. I love a murky, grungy tone. I realize this probably isn't for everybody, but I absolutely love this palette. I think it's a great foil to the original Twilight palette. I can also see this mixing really well with some of my personal favorite palettes. Like, I think this would be a great companion to my Enchanted Autumn palette. I will definitely be using those in tandem because I can just imagine some amazingly grungy fall-tastic looks, and that's what I want to wear year round. I don't care that it's January. I don't care that it's about to be spring. I'm ready for fall grunge. all year round, and this palette is really giving that to me. The body oil and the lip products are fine for me. I could definitely be more hyped up for the cream finish Luxe lipstick versus these Power Pout mattes. These are fine. They're just not the most comfortable thing in the world to me. They do feel a little bit dry on my lips. But I have very dry skin and it is very, very cold and dry where I live right now. So maybe there are some environmental factors for me here, but in general, I just like the eyeshadow products a lot more than the lip products and the body oil. Now's the time when I want to hear what you think about this Twilight collection. Are you interested? Are you picking anything up? Have you already ordered it? Which pieces are your favorites? I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Dang, she's bright. Wowzers. You better not eat, drink, talk. You can't even, don't even look too hard at anything or else this lip is going everywhere. Did I zone out? Yeah. Yeah, I did. I love this color, but my lips feel so freaking dry. I can't really see my sweater, but I have like the perfectly matching sweater for this whole collection. And I also matched my nails. Oh, I'm thriving in this color story. This is my wheelhouse. This is a really, really, really good first launch for ColourPop for me. Got my moon earrings on. I had to. Moss Girl Summer. I don't want to be a boss babe. I want to be a moss babe. One and one. One and one? One and one. That was the biggest waste of time looking for that. Great. Sometimes I'll put my comparison requests on Instagram. So if you have an Instagram account, make sure you go follow me at Makeup.Just.For.Fun because I will ask for comparisons. Let's see. Sandstone, Mulan, that's a good one. Appley in Love. Yes, all the Team Jacob girlies are coming out in the comments. We don't want to be ashamed, okay? I married a Jacob. My husband is a total Jacob. Literally, first of all, he's so warm. I don't know how his body generates so much natural body heat. I am always cold and he is always warm. So that's number one. That's number one for werewolf confirmed. He's also very loyal, prone to get hangry. He needs to go out and run around to burn off some steam or else he starts to get all stir crazy. He loves to run. He loves the woods. He likes to camp. He's very like physical. He's very athletic. He's never brooding. He always wears his heart on his sleeve. Loves tummy scratches. He's such a Jacob. I'm just saying. Okay, I need to go do so many swatches for this video so that I can get this ready for you, hopefully. And that's it. I hope that I can get this done in time for it to actually be useful for you. But you know what? I was shocked that stuff didn't sell out so crazy like last time. Tides, they are a-turning. Okay, where is that one? I really tried my best to get the matching nails. And I think I nailed it. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm so sorry. I love your face. Okay, bye.